there it goes.
We'll call the meeting to order. All commissioners are here except for Neuschwander. We're going to, first of all, amend our agenda to remove item number 4. That's probably not an action item, is it? It is. So do we have a motion to amend the
I motion
agenda?
to amend action 4 from the agenda.
I'll second.
We got a first and second to remove item number 4 from the agenda, and I think that's the only change there. First item of business. What's that?
Do you have a vote on that?
Oh, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The agenda is amended. Second item is approval of the minutes from the October 5th, 2021 minutes. Do we have any discussion, questions?
Oh, okay, no problem. No problem. I'll put you. All right, sounds good. Well, hold on. You bet.
I'll make a motion to approve minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The minutes are approved. First item of business is use on review applicant for an in-home daycare by Tony Burgust
Berghorst.
at 1901 Elk Road.
Yes. So the applicant is Tony Berghorst of 1901 Elk Road. She is submitting a conditional use on review application to operate an in-home daycare. So she's currently in the process of getting state registered, which means she could do up to 8 children in care, but that's not, I think she inferred that she's going to max out about 8 or so personally. Intended hours operation Monday through Friday, roughly 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And so basically a use on review for a daycare is a conditional permit that can be considered within residential zoning. There's no other known restrictions or covenants that would say otherwise. So basically when state registration means that the Department of Social Services will handle a lot of the additional requirements and inspections. I think they get inspected biannually is from what I can tell. And the inspection report's available to the public online. If there are compliance issues, it's addressed by Child Care Services, and then they work with the daycare provider with fixing those items. So basically, the state does a lot of the heavy lifting, so to speak. Otherwise, all the other conditions within Title 18 of Article 7, Sections 2 and 5 will be met. Yard is fenced, and she does have a little one in her care right now, so that's a general play area. So 20 certified letters within 200 feet of the property boundary was sent. One letter indicating no vote was returned. That was 5.79% of the share. The majority of letters received were approved or indicated approval at 46.3%. 10 were not returned at 47.91%. A sign was posted on site for at least 21 days, and it was published in the Sturgis Notification newsletter. So you can see the comments. There were only 2 comments received. Just a concern about maybe 12 kids would be too many kids. Otherwise, there's no other issues reported to city staff. So staff recommends approving the use on review with a standard yearly review until conditions change at the property. In case she continues doing it for longer, we'll just check on her like every other use on review, see if it still continues, published in the newsletter. And if any issues occur, then it's subject to come back to Planning Commission. So, and then potentially City Council review. So that's just as we do with every other use on review. And recommend to schedule a public hearing for Monday, December 6th at 6:30 p.m. for city council consideration. And Ms. Berghorst is here to answer any questions if you have any. And if you want to come up to the mic, feel free.
What did you say the regulation was on the number allowable?
There's a head count, and I can.
You can have up to 12, but as a daycare provider, there's no way I can handle 12 children. My limit would be 8. Yeah, the state says as a provider I can have up to 12 of a certain age.
So all the safety measures that are required for indoor care, you're all in compliance?
Yep, all in compliance, indoors and outdoors. Yep.
Any other discussion? Questions? Anything from the public?
I'll make a motion to approve.
We got a motion,
I'll
I'll
second.
second.
Oh.
second by David. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Thanks.
Thank you.
So this schedule a public hearing for city council final review on December 6th. Thanks.
So the next item we've got is a variance to a minimum setback.
Okay.
Or it looks like a minimum request for lot width and lot size to subdivide the property by Russ Ulrich.
So this action item, this was previously discussed at the preliminary plat stage last meeting. So basically, there's still a variance needed for the lot size. Still looking to subdivide. So lot 5H1, which would be the house to the north side, is still going to be needing a variance to the lot size requirement of 6,000 square feet minimum size. So that's the blue house on the left, and of course the brown house is the cottage house on lot 5K1. So it's a pre-existing non-conforming use since there's 2 residences on the parcel, so he just wants to split it up. So when we look at it, lot 5H1 is going to be short about 1,800 square feet roughly, just a little bit short of the 6,000 square feet requirement. And based on the Planning Commission recommendation last meeting, it will meet the 50-foot wide requirement. So in another regulations, lot 5K1 to the south meets everything else for lot size and width, and off-street parking requirements are met for both properties as well. And as well as the maximum coverage for structures, green space versus permanent structures, that will be less than the 45% per lot as well. So as we've discussed previously, we need that variance to the size requirements. And basically wants to subdivide so he could sell off the north lot. Notifications were made for the variance request. 15 certified letters were sent out to landowners within 200 feet. So basically, the 4 letters that were returned were all denials, and I have included the testimony from landowners in your packet. So if you haven't read through that, I'll summarize the complaint or the concerns the landowners had briefly, but the full context is within your packet. This was also published in the Sturgis Information Publication as is required. So generally, the 4 notifications, we didn't receive anything else that indicated approval, just basically the 4 letters. There was concern about not enough parking for each lot because of the narrowness of Third Street is about 18 feet wide, so it is less than a lot of paved streets in Sturgis. And most of the comments indicated if you were to allow this subdivision to occur, maybe to limit on-street parking was one of the suggestions offered by one of the landowners. Of course, we talked about the narrow street, and there's general traffic concerns in that area. Also with snow removal as well, that get quite crowded up there. And there were concerns about the permitting for that the smaller structure, the cottage house, like we like to call it. But in 2011, that was permitted to be expanded upon, so that there's effectively 2 residences on that parcel. So, but as staff considers this information that we received in the office, we've received phone calls, letters, and speaking to people on site too. So staff views this as a subdivision will not necessarily trigger any further parking concerns because the conditions already exist. So there's not any trigger that might make it so that there's going to be even more parking. And that's just how staff has considered this information that we've received. But we wanted to provide to you everything that was received in our office, seeing that there's nobody in the public that is here to speak against it. But so considering that information, staff would recommend that there be 2 motions. One, the Planning Commission approve the variance to the minimum lot size requirements, and secondly, to approve the final plat application. So basically, we'll have 2 action items to settle action items 2 and 3. And the public hearing for the variance will be on Monday, December 6th. So we've got Shannon Vosnitz from Baseline Surveying present, as well as the applicant on the phone, Russ Ulrich. So if you have any questions for him, or we can give Russ a chance to explain the reasoning for the request as well.
This is the one we were looking at last month that had the water valve.
Yep.
So it's the final plat, as you have it drawn, Shannon, is so that there's a water valve on each property. Is that correct?
No, this plat represents the motion that was made by you guys and the board for the prelim to actually have the 50-foot wide frontage.
Okay.
The one that split was 47 and something. So this plat reflects the motion made on the last for
That's
the
what I couldn't
approval of the
remember.
prelim. Yep.
50 feet of frontage, right? Not 55?
50 minimum.
50.
Yeah, so there's a 5-foot variance.
Percentage wise, I think it was short the 1,800 square feet of the 6,000 feet size requirement.
So it meets the frontage now, just a little short on the one lot. for the
Yes,
square
and
foot area.
yeah, and when we made the original notifications to landowners, it was for both variances. It was for both the narrower frontage and a smaller lot size. So, and I think it was partially addressed with the previous motion to make the lot a little bit bigger, not ask for as much of a variance to the city ordinance. So.
And that second cottage house, maybe you guys discussed that, that's up to speed. I see one of the complaints was that it was a shed or something.
Tool shed.
Does it meet all the building codes and everything?
The second house was there at least 12 years ago, and it was expanded on in 2011. A permit was issued to expand upon it at that time, and it was. Should it have been issued at that time without a variance? Don't know, but it was, so it's a moot point 12 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, and to address the parking, I agree, because we do have a hard service requirement based on this plat that's in front of you. So, and I believe there's the homeowner, the landowner has no arguments with. I know he's fixed the one or has already made.
He's complied with the hard surfacing requirement on the house. There was already a gravel parking pad On the other one, that if you wish, we could make him hard surface it, but there was no off-street parking for the house prior, and we made him put it in before he could split this off. So that does increase the off-street parking. That was some of the neighbors' concerns, was parking on street. It's so narrow. Now there's at least the minimum off-street parking there.
So is there somebody living in the cottage? Or in that?
I'll let the homeowner answer that. Russ?
Hey, Dave, so I can hear you and I can hear the lady, but I can't hear the board member.
Okay, yeah, they'll have them talk into their,
Is there somebody living in the cottage, if that's what we're calling her, the home, the little home?
Russ, the question is there somebody living in the cottage?
No, that's my vacation home. Me and my wife and my kids.
Okay.
But it's a permanent structure, right? It's got a foundation and a.
As far as that, yes, it is. It's a permanent structure.
If we're to approve this, is there an intent to, if he would want to build something additional, would there be, the variances that?
I'm sorry, Dave, when you say something on the cottage property?
Yeah,
Like
well,
a garage or something like that?
yeah, if he was to want to build something additional, would he be in trouble with?
No, he'd be able to.
Okay.
You would just have to look at, setbacks and all the city regulations at the time of the permit, so.
Okay.
And that lot is the full, it's bigger than the standard or the
Yeah, the lot with a cottage house does meet the minimum requirements.
minimum requirement, yeah.
Any other questions? Discussion from the board? Any more from Shannon or the public? So we've got two action items here. One would be a motion to approve the variance for the size of the lot requirement. And then the second would be to approve the final plat. Does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll motion to approve the first and the second. If I can do it that way, or I'll motion to approve.
Separately.
I'll motion to approve the first.
We got a motion to approve the variance
I'll second.
and a second by Preston. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. The variance is approved. And then the final plat.
I'll make a motion to approve the final plat.
I'll second.
We got a motion and a second to approve the final plat as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Both action items are approved.
This will go to a December 6th council hearing for the variance request, and pending that motion by city council, then the final plat will be considered.
Okay, yeah, everything's approved. We'll go to the final stuff. We'll go to December 6th to the city
The
council.
final item is,
All right.
number 3. Oh, that was both of them. Gotcha. That's it. Any other discussion or things from the public or the commission? And a motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks.
Thanks, Russ. Bye.